The cast is perfect. I mean, just note perfect. It's so good. It reminded me of kind of like an updated version of Freaks and Geeks, maybe.
Hmm.
And I love that show too. Yeah, so well done on the casting, man. So good.
Thank you. Yeah, I got to see it yesterday. Lisa, it's released today, so you probably haven't seen it yet.
I have not. Was it fabulous?
It's fabulous. It,
Oh,
it was exceeded even expectations that were already high. So
oh, that's
Oh, that's
good.
good to hear. I'm an actor too, so I know kind of that side of it. But like for you guys, how did you like come to work on the show?
I had worked a lot with A24 movie and TV, so like Euphoria and a million films. Very fortunate to work with them. And then also simultaneously, I had done this film Y2K with Jonah Hill's company Strong Baby, and they're also producers. So it was like all of my friends were producing. And then I had never met Benny before. And he's amazing. I mean, not only like as a comedic talent, but he's also a really good actor. And I could tell that from even all of his original videos. So I knew there was definitely something special. And then I got to meet Scott King, who is like just a really dynamic person. And then Lisa and I have worked together a lot as counterparts. I do the casting in the States, and she handles a million characters um, all over Canada. And I was like, you have to meet her, and then that was that.
Was there anybody I mean, obviously besides Benito Skinner, and I would assume Mary Beth Barone because they're sort of podcast partners, I think. But was anybody else attached prior to you guys coming on?
No, it was really, really just Benny.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he always wrote it with Mary Beth in mind, but I think everybody with a new show just wants to make sure that, you know, every itch has been scratched. But we all knew it was, going to be her because it was written for her.
So she actually had to audition for it?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So how involved were like they in the casting process? Was it kind of a collaborative process with you guys together?
Yeah. Benny was at every one. He read with all the actors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was very lucky to have him fully. Yeah, it was one representative from every part of the team was there. And then Lisa, I don't know what your experience was. Once I handed over the baton, Lisa took over and on all the rest of the casting. So were they still there for
Yeah,
all of it?
yeah, he was so fantastic and everybody loved him. I mean, when they found out they were going to read with him, they were jumping for joy. They were so happy. And he was so gracious and kind to every single actor. It was just if they had one line or if they had 30 lines, he was just so kind. And that was really nice because he's like a movie star here. Everybody was so excited to meet him.
Yes. And I all of that extended throughout the shoot. Like everyone said there wasn't one moment, not one tantrum, nothing, and I think that is such a good thing for actors to learn off of. Like you don't have to be a diva to be number one on the call sheet. Like he's creating it, he's writing, he's producing, he's making sure everything's there and can do it with such a great spirit. It's only going to attract the best things.
He had a lot on his plate,
Yes.
a lot to do. And he just made time for everybody. It was really nice, very special, I think.
That's amazing. I mean, I know if I like had come in or something and like read and found out he was reading with me, I'd just be like my mind would be blown, you know?
They
Yes.
were.
Yeah.
They really were. There was a lot of cast members. I mean, I cast, I think, upwards of 100 people.
Wow.
Just cast all the movie stars, which there's so many. They're like it really reads like a who's who
Hmm.
when you look at the cast list. It's so impressive. I was fangirling over Jess.
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, I love that. I love that you know, combining everybody together is going to make everyone like turn and be like, what's
Yeah.
this? You know?
Like there's so many people.
Yes. And there's a lot of cameos that come in as well throughout the series.
Dee Cohn,
Um,
man.
yes.
Yeah.
Every time I see her pop up, I just immediately smile. She's just fantastic.
She's so cute, isn't she?
She really
She's
is. I know
cute.
there's so many that we did that are later on. I only saw the first two that I'm excited to see them pop up. And sometimes it's in really small places, which is
Which
actually
is
the
really
only
cool.
hard part about casting the show was the cameo casting because it was a show before it was proven,
Mhm.
you know, and even though everyone pretty much knew like, you know, and based on the scripts they read that it was going to be really fun and funny. It's just always hard that first season for people to understand what it's going to be.
Did any of the actors who you guys auditioned come in with like a different take on the character that you never thought of and just kind of then you couldn't like imagine anybody else playing that person?
I would say like it's more when somebody switched it into a different tone. I think a lot of people when reading was like, oh, comedy, and it was without a lot of truth. And the ones that really kind of like didn't feel like they had to like pump up that part, uh, either it worked like amazingly or it didn't work at all. It's like that really fine line of truth and humor and unique way of, you know, using words or thoughts.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly said.
What about like Holmes? Man, hilarious.
So good. Oh my God. And she's like every line, every scene will always be different because he would just throw things in there and we would just die. Like it was the best casting process because she just creates so much. And she read for a lot of parts. We were just like, where do we she has to be in the show. And we were so lucky to have her. Yes.
Like her line readings are just like so unexpected, but so just brilliant. It's just, yeah.
It's brilliant. I'm so glad. And I'm so glad she's able to keep it fresh each time, you know, because there is something when we have to call back people so much. And there's a moment where like you're sick of hearing the same scenes over and over. And every time it was like really real to her, but also like I have no idea how her mind works that fast comedically.
How do you guys even begin to like cast a new show or anything new for that matter? I feel like it's just, like somebody hands you like this big box and it's full of like different puzzle pieces, and you guys have to are the ones to like find the right pieces to go together. I mean, like I'm sure it's exciting, but how do you even begin?
I guess it always begins with the script. You know, you just read the script and you start envisioning people, and then the people that, well, usually the people that I envision in the beginning are never the ones that end up getting the part ever. But I think it's the script, and then when you start to audition and you hear the lines being read and what everybody brings to it that's different, and you watch a couple thousand reads of the same part, you really, you really start to get a handle on what's funny and what isn't. And comedy's so hard, you know, it's so subjective. So you really have to read so many people to really get the perfect person there.
Yeah, I had about 6,000 to 8,000 submissions for one role.
I go,
It really took like 2 weeks to just go through the submissions because it, it's so rare to have the opportunity that you don't have to cast names. And so in that you want to make sure you do the due diligence of looking everywhere. And it's kind of amazing the amount of people we saw and like it was really only a couple like really special people that were the part.
yeah,
So,
but if you don't take a chance and read all those people, you'll never find that
That one, yeah.
yeah,
right.
and that's really what it takes. It's just combing through. I didn't know you had thousands. That's scary.
It was really the craziest amount of submissions I'd ever seen. It was like fresh right off of the strike, and also young and hip and Benny and
Yeah.
A24 and all the people, and it was just um totally bombarded.
You guys said that you guys had like thousands of submissions for like one role. Of those submissions, what's the percentage of actors doing kind of like the same way, the same like line readings and things like that? You know what I mean? Is it like 40%? Do you just see the same sort of thing over and over? And then it's that
Yeah,
one person or one group of people who just something totally different?
yes. And it makes sense to me. I mean, I probably would have read it the way that a lot of people read it, because it's so scary to, self-tape these days, and you're trying to get whatever information you can. And, nothing was held against anybody that did it in this way that was more traditional. If you could tell that they were unique and had humor, because it's a very easy fix to, be like, okay, we're going to just shift this around. So we didn't hold it against them, but it was if you could never kind of like penetrate through the wall of like big comedy without heart, just wasn't going to be the show. Because that's the trick, at least for hiring series regulars, is that you have to live through them. You have to know them, who they are on the inside, just as much as the outside.
Yeah, and you want them in your home every day. You have to accept them into your home, so you really have to like them.
What makes an actor memorable to you, even if they're not like right for the part that they just auditioned for?
I just think I don't know. It just depends. Like Jess was saying that we see thousands of people read the same lines, and most of them will do it the same way. But there will always be somebody or five or six people who stand out and do it just different. They just have their own style, they have their own specialness, their own sparkle. And it just makes you say, wow, I don't know if it's a confidence thing or if it's just something different that sparks your attention after all that those reads. But some people just bring it, and it's just the part belongs to them, and you just know it the second you see it. It's that undefinable quality, I think.
Yeah. I think having empathy, people that naturally have empathy for other people, you can sort of feel that they go into like, what's this person like really going through, and kind of abandon their own ego, or like, look at me. That's sort of like, look at me, I'm so funny, I'm so good at acting, is what I don't love. I love having to go, forward and be like, what's happening here? Like,
Mhm.
who is this person? Um, is definitely the kind of actors that I like. They can be very, very simple and not doing very much. But I know that there's a lot going on.
I don't want to keep you on forever, although I probably could. But my last question is for like self-tapes, what if you have like any advice, or what do you like to see from them? Like what's some like good sort of nugget of information that you would like to sort of get out there?
I'd say the first thing is, the beginning is really the most important thing. The first couple of words. So having, giving yourself at least like one moment before, and then making sure that the first part is alive. If there's like a deadness of like the lines coming out, and then you build from there. There's just something about it being like, oh, this person is in that moment.
Yeah, I think that's great. Your first impression,
Hmm.
very meaningful.
I've asked that
And
question a lot, and that's the best piece of advice I've gotten so
I
far
agree.
on
I
tonight.
was
Yeah.
that's excellent.
Yeah.
That is excellent. And
Yeah.
mine is boring. Mine is just know your lines. Please know your lines, because I just can't stand when I watch a self-tape and somebody is struggling for their lines and they don't remember them, and then they grab their paper and like you have one shot to send in that tape and you can do it 100 times at home. Just make sure you know your stuff. Mine's very boring. This
No,
is
Good.
was perfect.
you're never boring.
Well, guys, thank you so much for taking the time out to do this. I really appreciate it. And the show's great. Yeah,
Thank
fun.
you. I
Fun.
can't
Thank
wait to see
you.
more. Yay.
Bye. All right,
Okay,
thank you.
bye. Yes,
Bye.
you
Bye.
too. Bye.
Bye.